And I think it is time to go ahead and get started. Hey, my name is Coach James. I am the creator and lead instructor for All About Aerodynamics. I want to welcome you to AtTheTrack.live. Now, what is All About Aerodynamics? I know I did that in a little bit of a reverse order than I usually do it, but hey, I'm getting to it anyway. What is All About Aerodynamics? All About Aerodynamics is a science program where I use Hot Wheels cars to teach kindergarten through 6th grade students about a range of science and physics related topics, including aerodynamics, drag, lift, kinetic energy, potential energy, elastic energy, force, downforce, Isaac Newton and his 3 laws of motion, the scientific method, and a whole range of topics. After I've taught the students the science, after we've conducted experiments to drive home those concepts, then and only then do I bring in about 400 different Hot Wheels cars, and each student selects a Hot Wheels car that they think would be fastest in a series of races based on everything they've learned in the class to that point. Once they've selected their car, they examine their car, they take a picture of their car, they enter information into a spreadsheet including the car's weight, they test the car's speed, they get the year the car was manufactured. All of the information that they can capture through observation, they do. Then they set up a 1/64th scale quarter-mile drag strip, and we have a little tournament, and they race the cars, and they observe how their cars perform. Did their car perform up to or below their expectations? And if they had the chance, would they select that same car, or would they make a different choice based on their observations? And at the end of the day, we have learned science, we've had fun with Hot Wheels cars, and what could be better? So, if you would like more information about our science program and how to bring it to your school or your organization or your special event, all you have to do is go to our website, aaAerodynamics.com, or you can follow us on Instagram, aaAerodynamics, and you can get updates about everything that is happening with the program. As I've mentioned for the past few weeks, I am working on the online curriculum and making that available through an online portal and platform that will allow students who are outside of the Southern California area to enjoy All About Aerodynamics and have some fun, learn some science, and it is a great time. And I'm just, there's a lot of tweaks. I thought that the process would be a lot faster because I have presented during COVID. I created an online version of All About Aerodynamics and presented that, but in the time since I created that to now, there have been technological changes, and there's different things with the curriculum that I have to go in and tweak. And I thought it would be a faster process, but it's kind of like when I painted my house when my son was little and he started touching the walls, and when we first moved in, the paint was just cheap flat paint. And there started to be little handprints on the wall when he was trying to learn how to walk. So what I did was I decided, all right, let me get some good paint. Let me paint the living room. So I painted the living room. But then when you paint the living room, now the living room looks nice, but then the hallway doesn't look so nice. So then I'm like, let me paint the hallway. Well, now the living room and the hallway have nice paint, but what about the bedroom? So then I had to paint the bedroom. And it's like that with the online course. When I go in and I look at one part of the course and I'm thinking, that could use some improvement. Then I improve that. But then when I improve that one part, it makes the other part look not as good. So then I want to improve that. And so I'm just going through and making these changes, so it's taking a little longer than I anticipated, but I think the results will benefit the students who get a chance to participate. And again, if you would like more information on that, you can go to aaerodynamics.com or follow us on Instagram. You can send me emails or direct messages, whatever you need, and I can provide any additional information that you may require. But this is not all about aerodynamics. This is all about Aerodynamics presents At The Track Live. So what is At The Track Live? At The Track Live is where I have the opportunity to introduce new cars into the fleet. And by fleet, I mean the group of cars that I select from to take for the students to use. And before I can take cars for the students to use, I have to make sure I know which cars are in the fleet, which cars are where, so that I can make sure that the cars that I take to the schools and the students are the same cars I'm bringing back and where exactly they're located. So I have cars in storage that I have not opened, and each week I get about 6 of those cars, crack those open, we take a look, do a little review, and then after that I set up and we have a little mini tournament and we see which of the cars is going to be today's champion. And then those cars are all ready to go into the fleet. The students will have those to pick from, but we get to watch the races here. We get to sort of skip the academic part of the program and get right to the races. So we have a little mini tournament and see which cars are going to stand out and which cars are going to be a little questionable. But there is the live component. So if you go to AtTheTrack.live and you choose a car, then you will be taken to this page. And on this page, you will get to see all of the cars that are currently in the All About Aerodynamics At The Track Live fleet, which I believe is up to 750 something. Because I have updated and made sure that I have all of the latest information in here. Let me see if I can just grab this and scroll down. We have 755 cars are currently in the All About Aerodynamics At The Track Live fleet, and you have the opportunity to select a car you think would be fastest in today's tournament. So if you see a car and you think that car is going to be faster than one of the cars that I introduce, all you have to do is click on that car. So let's say you think it is let's say you think it's this Lotus Esprit FTE with the faster than ever wheels. Then you can click on it. You can get a close-up look at the car. You can see the reflection. See that this one looks to be metal on plastic. And you can check that out. And if you say, yeah, you know what? That is the car that I think is going to be faster than all those other cars that Coach James picked, then you just have to take the number, in this case 657. You drop that into the chat. I will pull that car. We will enter it into the tournament, and it will go up against the cars that are currently in the fleet, the new cars that are being introduced today. And if by chance, which has happened in the past, the car that you pick is the fastest car, it does win the tournament, it does beat the other cars that I've selected, then you have the opportunity to go up against our fastest in fleet car. It is the Ric Flair of cars. It is the 16-time champion. It is the Blitz Speeder. It is right here. It is the car that has been dominating the competition for the last 16 weeks. It's had 3 close calls, but in general, it has beaten out just about every car that it is faced by significant margins. And it is going to await today's challengers, and one of those challenging cars could be yours. And hey, Roughshod is in the house, and Roughshod has a pick. So let's go back here and check out and see which car, number 305, the Teegray, for the win. So let's see. Roughshod has picked multiple cars that have won the daily tournament, and but they haven't been able to beat out the Blitz Speeder. But the first things first, and that would be to beat the cars that you are up against. So let's check it out right here. Okay, the Teegray. All right, and I'm trying to see. It looks to be metal on plastic, or that's just plastic that's colored silver to look like metal. So this car might be light. It's got a good aerodynamic profile, low, fantasy car. The back end looks relatively flat, so that's all good. So I'm always interested. Roughshod always has very, very interesting picks, and I get caught up because I'm looking at the car. I'm thinking everything about this car suggests it should be fast. It should do well on the track. So we'll see. And that really is the best part, is that we take the observations, we take our guesses. This is what the students have to do. They can observe, they have the information, they've seen some races. Now they're trying to apply their theories to each of the cars, but then we ultimately get to test it out and we get to see which car is fastest. So 305, the Teegray, I will be pulling that car, and that will be one of the cars that is entered into today's contest. And another car that is going to be, we're going to have sort of a side bonus race today. As I mentioned, there's a lot of theory that goes into which cars are faster. I was in Target this morning, and I was looking at the Hot Wheels, and I always look at them thinking, which car, how would this car perform on the track, and what do I think? Do I think this car would be fast? What do I think it would be in the top echelon of cars that can race, or is it just something that I particularly like? So in the range of cars that I just particularly kind of liked is this one, the last one, 755, mailed it. And we raced this one last week, and I never expected it to be fast. But one thing that came up is that in the back of the car, it's got this wheelie bar because they turned this mail truck into a hot rod drag truck. And it had a wheelie bar in the back. And because of the way our launcher is set up, cars that have wheelie bars or sharp points at the end don't tend to get the best launches, because the launching block is a block, and cars need to press up right against that launching block to get a good push to get down the track. And this wheelie bar didn't really, in my mind, it wasn't going to help this truck out. And I want to say that this truck, I think it crashed a couple of times, and but it eventually made it down the track. It lost, of course, because it's just a truck. However, I did have a theory, and my theory was that if I could find another one of these mailed it cars, and I would cut off the wheelie bar. Now, usually I don't modify the Hot Wheels cars, and in this case, I just was curious. So I was in the store, and I found another mailed it. And so since I had two, I cut off the wheelie bar. So what we're going to do is we are going to have a race between the mailed it with the wheelie bar, this one, and without, and see if that makes a difference. Now, if my theory is right, the one without the wheelie bar should be able to press up against the launching block and get a more solid launch. The one with the wheelie bar, I expect to crash. So we'll see. Now, that's the whole point, and that's the thing that I try to tell the students, is that I have a theory. That's my idea. That's my hypothesis. The problem is, do wheelie bars make a difference? And my theory, my hypothesis, based on what I've observed, is yes, they do make a difference, and cars with the wheelie bars do worse on our track and are more likely to crash. But we have to conduct the experiment, and we will be conducting that experiment. So there will be a bonus race. It will be mailed it with and without the wheelie bar. That will be coming up. So that is just a little bonus race that will happen. Put those down there so that I don't forget. And we've got Roughshod's pick with the Teegray. So we've got one car. So that means we need 5 more cars to round out today's field. And I have a few cars left from my bag, my LAX Terminal 5 bag. And I've mentioned this in the past, over the past few weeks since I've been picking these cars, is that there is an FAO Schwartz store in Terminal 5 at LAX Airport. And they have Hot Wheels cars. They're overpriced, but they're usually cars that I haven't seen other places before. So I take a chance and pick them up because I might not see these cars again. And next Saturday, there won't be in At The Track Live because I'm going to be going up north to see some family. So I won't be here. But the good news is that I think I am flying out of Terminal 5, so I'm going to go and check it out. So if you follow us on Instagram, you'll be able to see. I'll post in the stories any cars that I pick up, and so you can see what's coming up. But anyway, the last time I made that trip, I bought a bunch of cars, and I have them in a bag back here. And so I think I have 1 or 2 left. So I'm going to grab one out of that bag, and that is going to be the first car other than Roughshod's pick that we enter in today to get us started. So, all right. What do we have here? This is the High Roller 2, and I'm going to just double check the spreadsheet just to make sure that I don't already have one of these, but I'm pretty sure that I don't, but pretty sure is not good enough. H. High beam and high tech I have, but no high roller. Well, now I have not only do I have a high roller, I have high roller 2. So let's crack this open and take a look. All right, this one is, I'm trying to think if it's, someone told me, like, if you can't tell if it's plastic or metal, just touch it to your nose and the metal will be colder than the plastic, and they're right. So first let me get the weight of this car. This car weighs in at 35.3 grams, and the Blitz Speeder, our champion, is 32.4 grams, if I remember correctly. I do remember correctly, and it is 32.4 grams. So this car is a little bit heavier, but let me get it up here, and we can take a look at it. This is the High Roller 2, not to be confused with the High Roller 1, which I don't know anything about that, but let me get it in focus. That might help. And because it is blue against a blue background, I am going to switch out the background just so there's a little more contrast. And we can take a look. This basically looks like a fantasy car, like a Bentley, that they have created here. Let's see. Are the lights? Is that light? Just seems a little dark. All right, well, let me, as this car comes around, I will, because I have to shoot the video, and I shoot the video for the students who are participating online so that they can get a better look at the cars, make a more informed choice. And here we go, the High Roller 2, and again, I think they just took the look of some like a high-end Bentley. I don't know that there are low-end Bentleys, but the Bentley rolls to something. Why is the light? I feel like I'm not getting enough. I almost need another light. I have so many here that the kind of the base of the car, I'm not getting enough light on it, but I'll worry about that later. 756. This is the High Roller 2, and we will see. I didn't check the year for the manufacturing, but the car is actually pretty light. So it's only those blue areas that are metal. The silver part right down the middle is plastic, and that is what was kind of throwing me off. So I'm not sure how this car will perform. It's the aerodynamics are iffy, just because that front end is so big and boxy, but we'll find out when it hits the track. It feels lighter than it is. Like holding it, it just feels lighter than it actually is. But I don't think. I mean, that front end is what is throwing me off, because I'm not really. My hopes aren't really that great for this car. It's just specifically because of that front end, and I don't think it's going to be able to stand up against some of the faster cars in the fleet. And at this point, we're talking about the Blitz Speeder, if it makes it that far. But we also have Roughshod's Teegray, and I don't think this car is going to be able to beat that one out. But similar to this one, in the picture of the Teegray where it had that silver, I don't know if that silver on the Teegray is metal or if it's like this and it's plastic that's made to look like metal. So that might make a difference. It'll definitely make a difference with the weight. But we have the High Roller 2. So that is the first entrant. Let me check the year the car was manufactured. This is 2024. So we've got the High Roller 2. It's very interesting because it's not, the weight is, I don't know, so it's plastic on the bottom. This silver part is plastic. It's really only the blue part that's metal, and see, it just kind of wraps around the base. But we'll see how this car does. And interestingly enough, these front areas here where the headlights would be, those are open, so that is going to allow for some airflow into the body of the car. Now I don't know if it stays open, but that could also be a factor. So we'll see. The High Roller 2 is first up. And I might as well, I think when I was checking, there was only one other car in the FAO Schwartz bag, the Terminal 5 bag. So I might as well just get that last car. See what it is. It is this. It is the Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe. And it's got the Gulf livery, which in this case is the dark blue instead of that light blue that you see with a lot of the Gulf cars. But it's a good looking car. So let's crack this open, take a look. And I guess before I cracked it open, I should have taken a look to see if I have one of these. The weight is 36.7 grams, so it is heavier than the High Roller 2 and heavier than the Blitz Speeder. And here we go. I don't know why it seems like it's almost like I need another light. Right, let's see. I need another light almost right here in that area to kind of get a better look at these cars. I have so many of these different flashlights and stand-up lights. I have this one that has lights on in different areas. So I might have to make another trip over to Harbor Freight and see what they've got as far as their light selection. But right now, taking a look at this Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe, and it's a good. I like the look of the car, and I think where it's going to have problems is that it's kind of narrow and the back end is a little rounded, and I don't know that that's going to help it get the push that it's going to need in order to be really competitive with some of these other cars, but that is what we are going to find out. So as it comes around, I will get the video. And we will take a look. Let me make sure this is. Oh, maybe it was just me. I didn't have the lights turned all the way up, apparently. All right, so let me see. This is car number 757. This is the Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe. And yeah, see the back end there is narrow. It's almost, well, it's got that kind of Corvette, that 70s Corvette where it kind of comes in pretty tight at the back end, and then I believe it looks like that spoiler on the end is probably going to be the part, that or the rear bumper are going to be the parts that actually touch the launching block. So we'll see. But again, the narrower cars tend not to get the best launches, and they tend to bounce around the track. And in bouncing around the track, it creates that friction, and that friction just slows the cars down. One thing about the Blitz Speeder is it gets good launches and it stays straight on the track. And really that's about, I mean, those are the most important things. Good launch, stay straight. And if a car can do that, it's got a shot. So we've got the Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe. We have the, I need to check the manufacturing year. That is the last of my current, 2006. So I really might actually have another one of these. I just need to check. Because if it's 2006, it's possible that I have one, and it's just a different color scheme. So let me take a look. Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe. I have this one, and then I have a Shelby Cobra 427 SC. So looks like this one is good to go. All right. So we've got two cars here. We've got the Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe. We've got the High Roller 2. And I guess it would be helpful if I kept it in focus. And we've got Roughshod has picked the Teegray, which I will pull up after I pick this next car. So let's see which car will be next. Next up is going to be okay, we're going with a truck, the 63 Studebaker Champ, and I need to check spreadsheet, make sure I don't have one of these, because I do have a lot of trucks. It's just that most of them are too wide to make it into the they don't fit into the launcher because they're too wide. So I just have a bag full of trucks. I have a 63 Chevy 2, a 63 Corvette Stingray, and that's it. So we now have a 63 Studebaker Champ. So let me crack this open, take a look. All right, and check the weight. This truck weighs in at 43.3 grams. That is not going to be helpful. It is not going to be helpful when you are talking about cars that are in the low 30s in terms of weight. And again, with AtTheTrack.live, I don't separate the cars into weight classes because that's not really the point of what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get these cars introduced into the fleet, and when they race against cars, some that are lighter, some that are heavier, and that's just the way it goes. So let's see. This is car really moving on these numbers. Car number 758. And this is the 63 Studebaker Champ. I'm not going to say that we haven't had trucks do well, because the Draftnator, which was our most dominant car prior to the Blitz Speeder showing up, was a drag truck, and it was really fast, just not fast enough to beat the Blitz Speeder. Flat back end, perfect. I mean, it couldn't be any more perfect of a back end. It's just the front end and the weight of this truck that are going to be its downfall on our track, in my opinion. But we will see. Perhaps it can beat out one of the other cars, but I don't think any of the cars that have been introduced so far are going to be losing to this one. So we'll find out. Seems like the light, let me see. Let me get the still picture. And get this for the Studebaker, representing for the trucks, for the pickup trucks. And get it lined up a little bit better. That looks pretty good right there. And we now have another truck in the fleet, the 63 Studebaker Champ. Can the Studebaker Champ become the actual champ? I don't know. I don't think so, but we'll find out. It's always good to have some trucks in the mix, in the fleet, and I'd like to have more, but as I said, when I designed the launcher, I wasn't really thinking so much about wider cars, and maybe that's something I'll have to work on in the future. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pull up Rough Shot's pick, the 305, the Teegray. So just give me a second to grab that, and I will be right back. Shouldn't take more than a few seconds. 305. Okay, and this is why I love that I've cataloged these cars, because it makes it so easy to just go and pull the cars out. It is, I mean, it's not so much now because I'm only adding 6 cars at a time, but before, I mean, the first time I did it, it was a hassle to mess with all these cars and have to look them up, look up the names and get them in the right place. But once you've done it, or once I did it, it was definitely something that was a project that was worthwhile. And let me see, the year on that Studebaker Champ is 2021. Let me get that into the spreadsheet. And I keep that information because it's just another data point that helps me locate the cars when need be. So, all right, checking out Rough Shot, the Teegray. Teegray weighs in at 31.1 grams, making it the lightest car that is participating today so far. 31.1 grams, and there it is. And let's go ahead and get the turntable turning, and we can take a look at this car and see what we can see, and kind of gauge. We think the chances are that it comes up and takes out the Blitz Speeder. So already it's got a similar profile to the Blitz Speeder. If we look at the Blitz Speeder right here, right there, see what the Blitz Speeder looks like in terms of its profile. And then you look at the Teegray, very similar. So it's got that going for it. Now it doesn't have the big wing like the Blitz Speeder in the back, but the back end, these two areas here should be, get them in focus, should press right up against the launching block. So we'll see as that car comes turning around. We'll see how that is. Oh yeah, that back end. The back end looks good, nice and flat, so it should get a good solid launch. It's about the same width. It looks to be about the same width as the Blitz Speeder. And yeah, this is a solid pick. This may be the one. Rough Shot may have stumbled across the one. I've been saying that odds are there's a car in the fleet that is faster than the Blitz Speeder, but I just hadn't found it yet, and you hadn't found it. But now, this may be the car. This may be the one that gets the job done. So we have the Teegray, which is going to be entered into the fleet today. If you would like to pick a car, and you would like to get your car entered into the tournament, all you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live. The address is right below me. You go to AtTheTrack.live, you select choose a car, you will be taken to this page. On this page, all you have to do is scroll through, take a look at all of the cars we have there, find the car that you think is going to be faster than the Teegray, the Studebaker, the 63 Studebaker Champ, the Shelby Daytona Cobra Coupe, the High Roller 2. If you think you found a car that's faster than those, all you have to do, maybe you think it's this 32 Ford. You can click on that. You can take a closer look. You can say, yeah, I think that 32 Ford, that's the car. And even though it's an open wheel car, and when it crashes, that axle is going to get bent and that car is going to be totally unusable, even despite all of that, I think that is the car that is going to take the tournament today. If that's what you think, all you have to do is take the number, in this case 102, drop it into the chat. I will pull the car, and then we will see if you are correct. Maybe you think it is the this I Believe. That is this car. I can't tell you how popular this car is with the students. It almost always gets picked by someone. The problem is that back end. It's got kind of a pointy back end, and it doesn't get the best launches all of the time. And despite the bizarre aerodynamic profile and shape of the car, it just doesn't tend to do as well as the students who pick it hoped. But hey, you may see a car, you may find the sleeper car that takes them all out. So when you do, all you have to do, if you think it's this Ferrari F50, you say, yeah, I like that car, small, compact, got a wing, looks good. Then all you do is take the number 172 in this case, drop it in the chat. I will pull the car. So you've got a little bit of time, because right now we have 4 cars. We've got 2 more to introduce before we hit the track. And let's go ahead and see which car is going to be next. Reach into this bag. It's a mixture of cars I got from the grocery store. And okay, we are now looking at the Tony Bredinger. I'm not sure. I don't know who. Oh. So, well, let me show the car first. It's this Toyota GR86 Cup car. And it says, speed past the competition in Tony Bredinger's GR86 Cup car. It's one of the many race-ready versions that have been homologated. That's a word I'm not familiar with. Guess you learn something every day. It's one of the many race-ready versions of the car that have been homologated using the same parts to compete in the GR Cup since making single make racing series. Let me try that all over again. Speed past the competition in Tony Bredinger's GR86 Cup car. It's one of the many race-ready versions that have been homologated using the same parts to compete in the GR Cup single make racing series. So apparently this is based on a real car, and I just need to check to make sure I don't already have one, because I know I don't have this specific one, but let me just check. The Toyota. Do I have any Toyotas in the fleet? That would be odd if I don't. Oh, I have a Toyota 2000 GT, a Toyota Supra, and that's it. So now there is a Toyota GR86 Cup car. Let's crack this open and take a look. The Tony Bredinger edition. Okay. All right. And back end is flat, kinda. Let me check the weight. Car weighs in at an even 32 grams, so it's got that going for it. It is here. Let me spin it around so you can take a look at it. All right, let's see here. Video going. All right. So we've got this Toyota GR Cup, and this car is that back end. It's got a curve to it, but it kind of flattens out. It may be hard to see. So in the back where the license plate would be, the car kind of flattens out, and then it's got that wing coming off the back, and so that's the point of contact for the launcher. So I think that should serve to give it a good push. I think it should get a good solid push. It is a little narrow. It may not seem like it just looking at this video and of the car spinning around, but it seems a little narrow. And again, my concern with narrow cars is that they're gonna bounce around the track, but we will see how this one performs. The Toyota GR86 Cup. So it comes around. Nice looking car. I like when they put the details, especially on the headlights. But they did that, so it's strange. They did that with the headlights. Little decal. They've got the Toyota badge right there. The Hot Wheels on the side. So they did that, and then it's almost like they ran out of time or paint or interest to do the back. And you can see they could have put another Toyota badge there. They could have done something on the rear lights. I don't know what the decision making is. Although I did have a chance to speak to a Hot Wheels designer who his job is to actually come up with different looks for each of the cars. And we were talking about his process and things like that. But that's one question I didn't ask him about, was how they determine which cars are going to get how much of a treatment, because there's clearly a lot more effort and energy put into the the details than others. And is it a matter of time? Is time a factor, or is there something else going on? So let's get this still picture, and I want to get the view a little bit so they can get a sense for the back end. Like that. And I guess another blue car. I should swap out the background. Although I didn't do it on the video, which may have helped, but this is better. It helps the car pop out a little bit, get a better look at it. And now we have, there we go. All right, so we have 5 cars so far. We have the Toyota GR86 Cup car. We have the 63 Studebaker, the Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe. We have the High Roller 2. High Roller 2? Was it? I don't know why that's the one. Yeah, the High Roller 2. And we have the Teegray. So we are just one car away from being ready to hit the track. Let me check the year on this car, which is 2023. And then I will pull the next. So let me enter this in, 2023. Got that. Car number 760. Let's see. Is going to be okay. This is one that I picked up at the Hot Wheels swap meet last month, and this is the 90 T-Bird. Let me just double check to make sure I don't already have one of these. 90 T-Bird. although I probably don't, because this is the kind of car that that I usually pick up from the swap meet, cars from the late 90s, excuse me, early 2000s, before I got back into collecting Hot Wheels cars. So let's see. I have a 1990 Acura NSX, and that is it. So now it has company as far as 1990 cars go with this 1990 T-Bird. So I am going to crack this one open, and I'm checking the back to see if there's, because sometimes with the older cars you see some interesting things on the back, interesting promotions, but sometimes it's just information that goes to a website that no longer exists. Although HotWheels.com, I know it exists, but some of the things that they want you to do in the contest are clearly long since over. So let me crack this open, and we will take a look at the 90 T-Bird. Okay, so it's got a metal base, and let's see what it weighs. 32.5 grams. So it's almost exactly the same weight as the Blitz Speeder. So it's got that going for it. Let's see. Keep adjusting these lights because it just seems like they're not staying at the full brightness that I need them at. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at this car. I keep wanting to say extreme because it's got that the word right there on the side, but no, this is the 90 T-Bird. So let me adjust it so I can get the still picture first. And let's see, let me move this way. All right, and here we go as it swings around. And here we go. All right. The 90 T-Bird. Let me get this entered in. This is our sixth car of the day. 2, 4, 6. Yep, this is the sixth car. And we will be hitting the track. And I think at this point, I am leaning towards Roughshod and the Teegray. But I'll always allow for the possibility that I can be surprised by some car coming up. And I think I'm curious that High Roller 2 and the Shelby Cobra are two cars that I'm interested to see exactly how they perform. And then this one, the cars from the 90s. It's been a little hit or miss. Usually I've had better luck with the smaller cars from the 90s, but this one weighs about the same as the Blitz Speeder, so we'll just have to see if it can perform on the track when it counts. So we have all of the cars. We have this one, and looking at, there's nothing outrageous about it. I just don't see, there's nothing about this car that suggests to me that it's going to be particularly fast. So we'll find out. The back end is flat enough, and that's fine. Just don't know about, it doesn't give me the feel. Sometimes with the Hot Wheels cars and picking them for the races, just about the feel. And this car just doesn't give me the feel that it's going to be fast. But feelings and guessing are not really the things that we use to determine which cars are going to be fastest. We solve everything on the track, and we are about to do that once again because it is time to hit the track. And let me just get the year. The manufacturing year on this car is 1999. And enter that in. 760 cars. We're moving right along. But it is time, as I mentioned, to hit the track. And when we do hit the track, this is what you will see. It is our 3-camera view. And the cars will start racing at the top of the screen on the left. You can see the launcher at the top. I will give a countdown, 3, 2, 1, race. I will activate the launcher. The cars will come flying out from top to bottom. They will fly out of the bottom of the screen on the left, and they will show up at the top of the screen in the middle. Then they will come from top to bottom, passing out of the bottom of the screen in the middle, showing up at the top of the screen on the right, our finish line camera. They will come from top to bottom. They will cross that finish line, and the winning car will be indicated with a solid red light. The losing car will be indicated with a flashing red light. So winning car, solid red light. Losing car, flashing red light. We also have some rules, and those rules are that the races are going to be best 2 out of 3. The cars will switch lanes between each race. And if a car crashes and comes off the track, then we throw out the results of that race. We reset the cars and run the race again. If a car crashes twice consecutively, that car is disqualified. And we move on with the tournament. Because if a car crashes twice consecutively, there's some problem that is not going to be resolved by simply running the race over again. And that is just about all you need to know for these races that are about to come up. Oh, wait, I've got to grab the... Oh, okay. And then we're going to have the bonus race with the mailed its, one with the wheelie bar and one without. And we are going to find out if that, in fact, makes a difference. So, we've got these races. We've got the cars ready to roll. I am about to head over to the track, and we are going to find out which of these cars, if any, can challenge the Blitz Speeder for fastest in fleet supremacy. So I will see you in 30 seconds. Okay, so we are here at the track. We are getting ready to run these races. I am just checking the getting my cords untangled because I do need to go back and check the audio. Make sure everything is good on that end. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yep, everything's good. Audio is working. Track is set up. We're ready to race. And we are going to find out if any of these cars can defeat the Blitz Speeder at the end of the day. All right, let me get these cars lined up. See what kind of races we're going to have. First, we're going to go right off the bat. We're going to go with the Shelby Cobra and the GR86 Toyota. So let's go with those. And I'm noticing already just how narrow. I mentioned that the back end of that Shelby was narrow. It's very narrow compared to the front end of the car. So we'll see how that plays out. what kind of impact that has. So we're going to put the Shelby Cobra in lane 1. We're going to put the Toyota GR86 in lane 2. These cars are lined up, they're set up, they're ready to go. Race number 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Woo! Okay, so the Shelby Cobra took that race, and I could just tell from the speeds, either these cars are fast or we're on a hot track today. I did switch out the rubber band and the launcher, and so we've got a fresh band, which means that we can expect higher speeds and more spectacular crashes. So we have the Shelby took the first race. We will see if the Toyota can come back and force a third and decisive race. But that was a good way to start. All right, we switched it up. The Shelby is in lane 2. The Toyota's in lane 1. Race 2, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Woo! Okay, these cars are moving, and that Shelby took it. It looked very quick, and it's hard to say just based on this because we have to go through the tournament, and I feel like every week I see a car and I say, oh wow, that car is really fast. I think that car is going to be the car to beat, and then not so much at the end of the day. But that was a quick pass that that Shelby Cobra just made, and I don't know. All right, next up, let's see. We're going to go with Rough Shots Teegray, and we'll send it up against this, not a Taurus. What was it? This was a, oh, and it's not on the bottom. So now I have to just remember. It was a 90, what was this car? A Taurus? Why do I keep saying a Taurus? Whatever it is, this silver car, put it like this, if Rough Shots Teegray loses to this car, then I'll have to go look up the car's name again. The 90, what was it? I don't remember. But if it wins, then I'll go look up the name. If it doesn't win, then the name's not important at this moment. All right, we're going to put the Teegray in lane 1. And we're going to put this other car that I kept calling the Extreme. And it's funny, you can tell it's from the 90s because the Extreme is spelled with an X, and everything in the 90s had to, have Extreme with an X or a Z instead of a Y, boys and things like that. So, all right, we've got the silver 90 Extreme car that I can't remember what it was in lane 2. We've got Rough Shots Teegray in lane 1, race 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Woo! Okay, in this 90s whatever won, but what I did notice is that the Teegray kind of went up on 2 wheels, and then it landed flat back on the track. So I believe that this was one of the lighter cars, and sometimes that just doesn't help because there's so much force, and especially now with a fresh band on this launcher, cars are coming out with a lot of force, and I could see the Teegray. Now, to its credit, it did land back on the track and complete the race, but it would have been better off actually crashing so that race would have to be restarted. But right now, this 90, is it a GTO? I don't remember what this was. The 90 Extreme car is in lane 1, and the Teegray is in lane 2. This is race number 2. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Okay, this time the Teegray stayed on the track, and it took that race. And now we will switch up, and we will go to the third and final race to determine which of these cars is moving on. Is it the 90 Extreme car that I can't remember what make and model is, or will it be the Teegray? So we are going to find out right now. It is time to go to the third race, and these cars are moving quickly today. This is a hot track. So the Teegray is in lane number 1. If I can get it pressed up against the launching block properly, okay. And the 90 Extreme question mark car, the silver car, is in lane 2. So each car is taking a race. This will determine which car moves on. We've got the Teegray in lane 1, the 90 Extreme question mark in lane 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. And that 90 question mark car took the race, which means I am going to need to go and check to see what the actual name is, even though I just entered it into the spreadsheet. Is the T-Bird. The 90 T-Bird, that's it. So this T-Bird, the 90 T-Bird, took the race, and it is moving on. And we will see it will face, we'll see who it will face next. But we are going with the 63 Studebaker versus the High Roller 2. That is our next matchup. And we will see if this truck, heavy as it is, can defeat this fantasy Bentley luxury phantom car that is the High Roller 2. Let me get this Studebaker lined up. It's got the back end is perfectly placed against the launching block. It is ready to go. The Studebaker 63 Studebakers in lane 2. The High Roller 2 is in lane 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. The Studebaker coming through and getting the bounce back all the way to the starting block. These cars, I told you, this is a hot track. These cars are coming out fast and with a lot of force, and the Studebaker took it, representing for the truck. So that's one win for the Studebaker, and we are going to see what happens in the second race. Studebaker's in lane 1. High Roller 2 is in lane number 2. This is race number 2. We are ready to go. Yeah, let's see what happens. Studebaker's up 1 race to none. Three, two, one, race. Woo. Okay, so the High Roller 2 came out and took that race. So now we are going to a third and final race. Let's see what happens. These cars are moving, and it is anybody's guess as to which car will come out on top. We've got, let's see, the High Roller 2 is now in lane number 1. Studebaker is in lane number 2. Pressed up firmly against that launching block. It's getting a good push. Even the race that it lost, it was still right there in the mix. So this is race number 3. We've got the Studebaker in lane 2. We've got the High Roller in lane 1. Here we go. Race number 3. Three, two, one, race. Studebaker takes it with the bounce all the way back to the starting line. So we have now got 3 cars left. We've got the 63 Studebaker. We have the Shelby Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe. And we have the 90 T-Bird. So let's go Studebaker versus Shelby and see what happens. We'll keep the Studebaker in lane 2, put the Shelby in lane 1 on this hot track edition of At The Track Live. All right, so the Studebaker's in lane 2, Shelby Cobra is in lane 1, and here we go, race number 1. Three, two, one, race. Woo. Shelby Cobra smoked the Studebaker, and that was impressive. That car was fast, and you can just look and tell, like, the speeds. These are either fast cars or it's the combination of the new band and the cars being fast. I don't know, but these cars are moving. But this Shelby Cobra took the race, so it's moving to lane 2. The Studebaker is in lane 1. And we are going to see which of these cars. Can the Studebaker force a third race? I don't know. That Shelby Cobra performance looked pretty dominant, but this is race number 2. If the Shelby takes it, it's going on to the finals against the T-Bird. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Not even kind of a question, almost. The Shelby Cobra took it in dominant fashion, and it is now the finals. The finals is going to be the 90 T-Bird against this Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe, and we will find out which of these cars is going to win today's tournament and then go on to take on the Blitz Speeder for fastest in fleet bragging rights. We've got the Shelby Cobra lined up in lane number 1. We have the 90 T-Bird lined up in lane 2. These cars are ready to go. This is the finals, race number 1. Here we go. Shelby lane 1, 90 T-Bird in lane 2. Three, two, one, race. Woo. Okay, so that was a very close race. Cars were kind of neck and neck, but the Cobra pulled it out in the end. I think it closed that gap in the last section of the track. So it is up 1 race to none. We are going to switch lanes and find out if the Cobra can make it a clean sweep and go on to face the Blitz Speeder in the fastest in fleet championship. But first, there is business to attend to. Races still to be run. It is not over yet. We have seen cars many times lose the first race, come back, win the next 2. It is not unheard of at all. It's fairly common. So, Can the 90 T-Bird be the latest car to do that? I don't know. We're about to find out. We've got the T-Bird in lane 1. We've got the Shelby Cobra in lane 2. Shelby Cobra's up 1-0. Can it make it a clean sweep and go on to face the Blitz Speeder? We'll see. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Absolutely. That race was not close at all. And with the margins this Shelby Cobra is winning by, Blitz Speeder may be in trouble because the Shelby Cobra is today's tournament champion. It is, it's put in a pretty dominant series of races. But now we're going to find out. We're going to find out how fast this car really is. Is it as advertised? Let me get the. These cars have been slamming into the memory foam barrier at the end of the track pretty hard and kind of jolted a couple of things out of place. Got that back in where it should be. And we are going to find out. Is this when the Blitz Speeder finally goes down? We're going to find out because these cars are lining up. This is it. We are going to have the Blitz Speeder in lane 1. The Champ. Get it in there. Okay. And now the Shelby Cobra is in lane number 2. And we are going to find out, is the Shelby Cobra ready to just take the title from the Blitz Speeder? We're going to find out on this hot track. Here we go. So Blitz Speeder, lane 1, fastest in fleet champion, versus the Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe, which is today's champion. All right, here we go. Fastest in fleet, race number 1. Let's go. Three, two, one, race. I mean, just this Blitz Speeder is just unbelievable. The Shelby Cobra was dominating these other cars, and just it looked fast. Just the eye test, it looked fast. And I'm not going to say that it's not fast, but the Blitz Speeder is just on an entirely different level. At least based on that first race, because it blew the Shelby's doors off. It blew the doors off, the wheels, the axle, everything. It was just not even close, not even remotely close. So maybe the Shelby got a bad launch, and we'll pick it up in this one. It's going to have to win 2 against the Blitz Speeder, and it's down already. So we've switched lanes. We've got the Shelby Cobra in lane 1. We've got the Blitz Speeder, the Champ, in lane 2. And here we go. If the Blitz Speeder takes it, Blitz Speeder is our 17-time champion. So here we go. Three, two, one, race. Not even almost a little bit of a contest. Blitz Speeder remains the champion. Blitz Speeder is just unbelievably fast. I think that the Shelby was definitely a fast car, just not fast enough. But we do have the bonus race, which is the Mailed It. The Mailed It versus Mailed It. So we have the Mailed It truck that I removed the wheelie bar. And then we have the Mailed It truck with the wheelie bar. Now, my theory is that the one with the wheelie bar has a better chance of crashing, is more likely to crash. And that the one without the wheelie bar is going to get a better launch and make it down the track faster and in one piece and actually make it down the track and not crash. So the Wheelie Bar mailed it, is going into lane 1. The no Wheelie Bar mailed it, is in lane 2. So let's see how this plays out. This is mailed it versus mailed it to see. This is the Wheelie Bar challenge, call it that. And my pick is on no Wheelie Bar. So no Wheelie Bar is in lane 2. Wheelie Bar is in lane 1. Here we go, race 1. Three, two, one, race. No Wheelie Bar destroyed Wheelie Bar by a huge margin. So if one race is any indication, I was right. But let's go ahead and switch it up. There could have been any number of things that may have gone wrong, but I think the main thing that went wrong is this mail truck has a Wheelie Bar. That's what went wrong. That's what prevented it from being fast. That's what prevented it from putting its best foot forward on the track. The Wheelie Bar. So we're going to put Wheelie Bar, mailed it, in lane 2. And we'll put regular, no Wheelie Bar, mailed it, in lane 1. So once again, we have no Wheelie Bar, lane 1, Wheelie Bar, lane 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. And I was just about to say, hey, just as I said, Wheelie Bar mail truck crashed, because it did crash. It crashed first. But then a few feet down the track, no Wheelie Bar crashed. So we had both the mail trucks crash. That was interestingly consistent. And I will line them up again, and we will see if I can get them down the track, and we can get an answer to the week-old question of, does the Wheelie Bar make the mail truck slower? It's not that it makes it slower. It prevents it from getting good launches, which ultimately causes it to lose races, which if you lose a race, then you were slower. So maybe that's all true. All right, cars are lined up again. No Wheelie Bar lane 1, Wheelie Bar lane 2. No Wheelie Bar is up 1 race to nothing. Let's see what happens. Three, two, one, race. Wow, and they both crashed again. And it's unusual that you would have 2 cars crash 2 races in a row. But that is what we saw. And in a lot of ways, it's kind of what I expected it with the car with the Wheelie Bar. But it's also that these are the taller cars, and as I explained last week, when I have to use this taller acrylic cover, it's more likely that cars needing that taller acrylic cover will crash, just because there's more space and opportunity for them to crash. But we know we got one good race out of these 2. We need another, because we don't have any definitive information at this point as to which of these cars is faster. So here we go. Once again, no Wheelie Bar is in lane 1. Wheelie Bar is in lane 2. No Wheelie Bar is up 1 race to nothing. And both cars have crashed twice consecutively. So take that for what it's worth. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Both cars made it down the track, and once again, Wheelie Bar car was destroyed. by non-Wheelie Bar. So I'm going to grab these cars up, go back into the garage, and we'll take a look at what we saw today. All right. See you in about 20, 30 seconds. So this part of the episode almost writes itself, and I could just record this and put it on a loop. But once again, the Blitz Speeder is the fastest car that we have. It is the fastest Hot Wheels car on the planet. It showed that again today. It absolutely destroyed that the Shelby Cobra, which it's not that it looked fast. It was fast. It's just the Blitz Speeder is so much faster than every single car that we have ever put it up against, minus 2 or 3. That it's going to take a very special car to beat it. And the cars today, that 90 T-Bird, I don't know why that name keeps escaping me, but the 90 T-Bird was definitely one that is another car that's pretty fast, and it had some good races with the Shelby, but that Cobra was a fast car, but the Blitz Speeder beat it by such a huge margin that I don't know which car is going to take this car out, but we did see that the Blitz Speeder remains the champion, and you will have the opportunity to pick a car to beat the Blitz Speeder. All you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live, select choose a car, and then you can make your selection, find the car that you think is faster than the Blitz Speeder, and we will find out if you are correct. Now, what we also had was our mail truck challenge, which we had Wheelie Bar, mail truck, and we had no Wheelie Bar mail truck. And it turned out that the mail truck without the Wheelie Bar, as I kind of expected, was unquestionably faster than the mail truck without. Now, because they're the exact same truck, the outcome should have been the same. The only difference was that I chopped off the Wheelie Bar on one of the cars, and therefore chopping off the Wheelie Bar made the difference, because there's no other difference between the cars other than that one modification I made. But that one modification I made a huge difference. So now the mail truck went from being kind of a joke of a car on the track to being a serious competitor, at least against other either minivans type cars, vans, trucks. And speaking of trucks, that 63 Studebaker did pretty well. It just didn't make it to the finals, but it did pretty well. And that is really what we're here to see. Which cars perform well, which cars perform worse than expected, and can any car challenge the Blitz Speeder? So far, the answer is no, and it's a definite no. It's underlined, it's highlighted, it's got exclamation points. Absolutely not. No car is really giving the Blitz Speeder much to worry about. Now, there are 3 cars. One was the Chrome Blitz Speeder, then the Slide Kick, and the Whipped Creamer 2. Those are the only cars to have taken one race from the Blitz Speeder. And then the Blitz Speeder came back and beat all of those cars. So, I will not be here next Saturday because, as I mentioned, I'm going to go up north to visit some family. And then I will be back. We will have another race, series of races. And then I think I'll be gone for the Thanksgiving break, which was the week after that. And then we'll be back. So the schedule will be up and down, but the best place to find out what's happening is to follow us on Instagram, AA Aerodynamics, and everything will be posted there. If you want more information about our science program, all about aerodynamics, you can go to AAAerodynamics.com. And you can get all the information you need. And if there's still information or questions you have, just reach out to me, email or direct message, either way. And I will tell you everything you need to know to bring all about aerodynamics to your school or your organization or your special event. So there is that. But at the Track Live, we've got some new cars introduced. I like how the fleet is shaping up. We're up to number 760 cars in the fleet right now. And yeah, I'm looking forward to going to, I got to check my flight information and see if I'm leaving out of Terminal 5. If I do, you can definitely expect to see some Hot Wheels cars. Again, follow me on Instagram and you will see the cars. You'll kind of get a sneak peek of the cars I'm looking at or picking up before they get back here to the fleet. So, for all about aerodynamics and At the Track Live, I am Coach James, and until next time, I will see you at the races.